Hello everyone, we're Group 4 and welcome to the life and works of Rizal. So now we're going to tackle about the cultural aspect of Rizal in the context of 19th century Philippines. So we've gathered some informations about the happenings in terms of the cultural aspect in the 19th century context and compare it to the present situation. But first, please allow me to give an insight on what is cultural aspect mean. Through culture, people and groups define themselves, conform to the society, share values, and contribute to the society. Thus, culture includes many societal aspects, such as language, customs, values, norms, rules, tools, technologies, product, organizations, and institutions. So let's have the first cultural aspect. So we have the Western and Chinese cultures were introduced way back then in the 19th century, and one of those that were brought was clothing. So in a distinct manner, clothing brings to the light of the community involving refinements and standard of dressing of the society, and it impacts the clothing economy as well as the cultural changes. In the present, more cultures were introduced that also brought clothing, foods, and some cultural habits. These newly introduced cultures were brought into the Philippines with the help of the social media as well as the acculturation. Acculturation is a process in which an individual adapts, acquires, and adjusts to a new cultural environment as a result of being placed into a new culture or when another culture is brought to someone. For example, um, a girl's meet a boy. This usually happens when all her life she lives in Baguio City and then finally meets a guy from Manila. They click as a couple, but they have to adjust, they need to accept, they need to modify and adapt with each other's culture.
It gives rise to the influences in learning the Spanish language. Spanish words were taught to the Filipinos and learned to use it. And some of the words adapted to Filipino language. It includes Latin, Spanish, Greek, French, and English. During this time, Spaniards taught Filipinos to learn this language, and there are some words that being adapted to the Filipino language, and we are using it until now. In the present, giving rise to the influence to learn more different kinds of languages, such as Korean, Japanese, and others, based on the culture that is being adapted in the present. Today's generation is into K-dramas, K-pop, and anime, which influence them to learn Korean and Japanese.
Then, religion and the Holy Trinity was emphasized and the extended families became popular. Present, the introduction of other kinds of religion other than Christianity. In 15th century, when the Spaniards brought Christianity in our country, the Spanish conquest brought fundamental changes in the lives of the native population. They introduced new customs, a new religion, brought over new practices and institutions from their earlier colonial experiences. Roman Catholicism was and have been adopted by the general public as the major religion being practiced. The Spanish colonization has been reflected in the Philippine literature. The publicity and works of Jose Rizal have been significantly tell the religion and especially the Holy Trinity to adore. Church authorities spread the church doctrines by communicating with the natives. Doctrina Christiana signifies the faithful Filipinos is a prayer book that presents beliefs of the Holy Trinity such as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Extended family was also very popular. It is the most important aspect of most Spaniards' lives. Spaniards tend to manage their problems to their family, relying on their relatives for support in difficult situations. These cultural patterns reflects closeness of family relationships. Presently, as the population grows and different churches and denomination has been established on the 19th century, this paves that way for more commerce, as the people is an innovative and industrialized world and country is particular. There comes the acculturation and inculturation of customs, traditions, and cultures where a diverse group of people navigation other kinds of religion other than Christianity. The variety of religion arising might tell us that the world has been evolving. The belief in religion and how other differs through it reflects as developing, living, and progress of understanding.
Then, the Christian churches established by the Spanish have become the indicative sign in cultural unity and socio-economic progress. The Spaniards introduced to us Christianity, or the Roman Catholic faith, and succeeded in converting the overwhelming majority of Filipinos. In the Spaniards' time, the American occupation was responsible for teaching the Filipino people, which is the English language. Spanish missionaries carried Catholicism to the New World, and the Philippines establishing various missions in the newly colonized lands. Present, more churches, temples, mosques, and synagogues were established by different kinds of religion in the country, which also gave a sign of socio-economic progress due to the country being more open. We belong to the different faith. They introduced to us as a young child or a young children, we need to read the Bible. But others says that we shouldn't read the Bible because it can cause lunatic o pagkabaliw. But now, they introduce the different ways of teaching on how or what is the purpose to have faith or beliefs in our life. As a young child, we have a lot of questions in our mind. Like, naabagyoy Ginoo? Kung naangan nang wala ko kita ana niya. Most of the time, makasulti tag-ingon ana in times of our problem. But did you know nga ang Ginoo nasa problema wala sa kalipay? So kung naa kay problema, pasalamati ang Ginoo ayaw basula. Kay ang tanay lumalabay lamang. So that, do not question your beliefs. Just try to understand what is the main purpose of life.
The Ilustrados, otherwise known as Enlightened Ones, were the educated class in the Philippine society during Spanish occupation. During this time, Ilustrados refers to an educated man during the Spaniard colonizations, wherein Ilustrados are men that is from the family that has a capability to study in Spain. During this time, women don't have the right to be educated. Although some women were able to attend some vocational schools, most were not given an opportunity to an education because the church and the government believe that women should only stay at home. In the present, it is not just the upper class or educated one, but also middle and lower class families were able to go to school and be educated, being a professional, and female are having the opportunity to go to education. It is because the government and the churches are fully support every Filipino that has an opportunity to be educated.
Then, the Jesuits were unlike the other friars who were educators but did not do too much to educate Filipino. Most of the friars quite suspicious with the success of Filipino students and invariably sought to pull them down. Present. Friars and school teachers educate Filipino with no discrimination, and the Jesuit is no longer educated Filipinos in the present. But the friars still exist in the present, but only the specific college in the Philippines, like College of Ministry and the College of Seminary under the Catholic religion. The friars and the school teacher or DP teacher in the country are do fully support to the students and help Filipino students by educating them toward success. And now, let's have an explanation and a comparison between then and the present. So, Jesus is from the word Jesus, and it means a member of the Society of Jesus. And mga Roman Catholic sila came to the Philippines in 19th century, and thoughts Filipino students. Niya kahuman na po yung mga praile niya mga educators, mga praile nga educators, mga friars in 19th century kitudloan ang mga ang naari sa Pilipinas na kitudloan ang Filipino pero dili kayo kanang pagtudlo nga kitudloan maayo or dili kayo support or proud because ang mga praile kay kanang mura ganig mangitag kanang mura ganig manghinala sila sa mga achievement ug success sa mga Filipino students sa una unya mura hilaon na pababa ang mga students sa una. But in the present we have a big difference or we can say the big difference if we compare the two century or the 19th century and the 21st century or the present century because karon ang mga teacher kay fully support na sa tua or mga educators tudloan tani kauman kanang proud kay sila sa mga achievement o mga success. And also kaning GSET is no longer na sa Pilipinas or mga GSET nga gikan sa lang nasod nga wala sa Pilipinas kay magtudlo. Pero natin matawag nga murag present GSET or kanang mga friars diri sa Pilipinas nga natawo pod or kanang dili dako sa Pilipinas like sa mga pari nga kanang naay College of Seminary, College of Ministry, unya College of Ministry kaskaran sa mga Baptist pero Christian gihapon di ba? Baptist sila nya kanang nasa eskwelahan ana for Baptist nga mga mga students and also nang sa gusto mapari na College of Seminary so matawag nato sila og kanang friars or mga praile because they are men and also they are society or members of Society of Jesus or group or religious. So matawag na sila and yan napo tayo ka naman gustong anang magmadre yan napo yung mga eskwelahan sila or eskwelahan na mga gusto magmadre pero dili na sa natawag tog mga nanang friars kay friars it means men man nakaman mga babae man sila pero matawag ito mga educators of growth of kanang religious lang sila nya kay mga educators man sila pero dili sila kanang laki babae man so matawag ato sila nga mga group of religious matawag nga present GSET sila kanang mura ganing mga GSET sila nga magtutuldo group of Jesus nya kanang dili lang sila mga lalaki mga babae mga magtutudlo or mga educators nya kana sa tanan diri na sila natawo sa Pilipinas or diri sa Pilipinas na sila magtutudlo dili ikas lang nasod nga sila magtutudlo like mga school teachers o mga friars nga suportado na ta sa present karon unlike sa una nga gikan sa lang nasod mga friars dili ta suportado or dili ka support sa mga or dili ka proud sa mga students sa una pero karon makita gyud nato ang usaban nga proud og support ka sila sa atong success ug achievement sa ato ang education so mo nay kalainan sa duha.